Okay, it's just a quick video on how to replace the nib in your mixing chamber. Remember, all the nibs in the Chameleon color tone pens are completely replaceable. They're very affordable. Usually about, I think it's about $5 to get 10 of them in there. So you can replace your mixing chamber nib, you can replace your brush nib, and you can replace your bullet nib. And we're going to go through each of those. The mixing chamber nib really doesn't need replacing that often, honestly. The only time you'd ever need to replace it is if somehow you damaged it, or you want it perfectly pearly white and clean. In previous videos, if you might have seen, we've talked about if you happen to forget, leave this in the fusing position, maybe walk away for a long period of time, and maybe turn it upside down a lot and get the color into the nib. It will pull the color back out if you just put it back in that proper fusing position. But if eventually if you do it too many times, it might cause some slight staining in the nib. If that bothers you, you can replace the nib just this easily. So all I'm going to do, make sure I'm going to close my pen. I'm going to take the tweezers that I have. These are the Chameleon tweezers, a bit of a claw end to them, which is kind of nice. It allows you to grip onto the mixing nib that's inside here. So I'm just going to take my tweezers and I'm going to reach inside and I'm just going to grab that mixing nib and I'm just going to pull it out. And there it allows me to get a hold of that a little bit easier. And this is where I'm going to fill my mixing chamber as well, and we're going to show that in another video. So I'm just going to take my replacement nib and I'm just going to put that in my tweezers and I'm going to just drop that right back in and then push it. And you want to make sure you give it a good push all the way. You just want to be able to try and make sure the little claws are holding further down. You don't want it up here at the top of the nib because you could damage the mixing chamber nib. So you just want to keep that you're holding those little grips down to the bottom and then just give it a push. Now, just to double check to make sure it's in nice and tight, it's a good idea to take your brush nib and just put that into the mixing chamber. Now, it should seat and not cause the nib to bend over too much. If the nib starts to bend over too much, you just have to shove that mixing chamber nib in a little bit further. You didn't quite seat it properly. But now that's how I change my mixing chamber nib. No problem. And that's how we're going to actually refill the mixing chamber. So we'll cover that in the next video.